Writing work and what?
Studying new things. Learning new
Music.
things. No, ma'am.
Oh,
Learning new
music.
things.
New
No,
things.
ma'am,
Oh,
learning new things.
new things. N-E-W, new. Am I correct?
Yes,
Did I hear you correct? Okay,
Yes,
yes,
ma'am.
I got it. Great. Even I love learning new things. Hi, good morning, Aditri. I heard you saying good morning to me.
Good
How are you, Aditri? Good morning.
ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
I'm good, sweetheart.
Good
I'm
morning, ma'am.
good. Good morning. Who is this?
I'm Zainab.
Oh, hi, Zena. Pin me so that I can see you on the screen. Pin your
Good
teacher.
morning, ma'am.
Children, pin your
Hey,
teacher.
ma'am.
Yeah. Good morning, Rabja. Devang, good morning. Zainab, how are you?
Fine, ma'am.
Good morning,
Great.
ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, Devang, good morning. A beautiful morning to you. How are you?
Fine, ma'am.
Okay, we have 11 students now. Let's see. Let us start the class. Okay, Anam Mishra, yeah, I'm admitting on. Okay, children, how are you? Everybody doing good?
Yes,
Yeah. Before I ask, yes. Before I give you a few instructions to start for the class, as every day I do,
Good morning,
I would like. Hi, good morning, Karina. How are you? Do you, any one of you remember what did we do yesterday? What was the competition that we had yesterday in the class?
ma'am. Good listener. Good ma'am. Good
Very good. Very good.
listener.
Yeah, who said this? Who said this?
Ma'am, Radhya.
Very good, Rabia. High five for you.
Zainab.
I know. Yes, you too. Bingo. That's done. Bingo. You remember? Okay, now again, I would like to tell you that this competition of good listener will be continued. Okay, we will take it long for this week as well. And so you have to be a very good listener. Now Zainab is going to tell me what the good listener. Do you remember, Zainab? We had a discussion on it. Yeah.
Is cracking.
My voice is cracking. So mute all of you. Mute yourself. Children.
Good morning, ma'am.
A beautiful good morning. A beautiful morning to you, beta. Now, children, just mute yourself, okay? Okay, mute yourself. And Zainab was going to tell me.
Can I pin you?
Oh, yeah, do that. Everybody do that. Yeah. Hi, good morning. A beautiful morning to you, sweethearts. Now, mute yourself. I was asking a question to Zainab. Hi, Daksh. Zainab, now tell me, who is a good listener?
Ma'am, good listener is those who listens to anybody who say anything to him or her.
Yes, a good listener listens carefully, nicely to someone who's saying something to the person, right? Yes, so we all have to be a good listener, and a good listener also listens carefully to follow the instruction. So you all are a good listener and you're going to follow the instruction. The instruction is one voice will be at a time, right? And we will wait for our turn. Ma'am will call the name. We will listen to our name and immediately we will unmute ourselves to answer. Okay? Now I'm going to share a slide with you. We will start an activity today, and this activity will be, today we will have an activity of good reading. Okay? So I'm going to share. Yeah, we will have an activity of being good reader today. We had a competition yesterday of a good listener, but you are not listening. Mute yourself, children. Mute yourself.
Ma'am, we cannot hear you.
Ma'am, we cannot hear you.
Ma'am, we cannot hear you. We cannot hear you. Ma'am, you are mute.
Yes. So please mute yourself and do not mute your teacher. Okay? And mute yourself. Yeah, mute yourself immediately. Immediately mute yourself. Yes. Okay. I'm going to show the slide. And children, like we had a competition yesterday of being a good listener. Today we will have a competition of being a good reader. And we have already read a story. So we will have the activity on this story of being a good reader. And what we are going to do further with it, let's see. Okay, I'm going to call your name and only that will be answering. Rest all of you, mute yourself.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Excuse me,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, tell me,
Ma'am,
better.
who won in the good listener contest?
I'm going to give you, I said, oh, you joined a little late. I'm going to tell you one thing, Bacha. We are extending this competition of being a good listener to this week. Okay? Okay? And like, I'm just counting it on who listens to the instructions carefully. And when I call your name, who unmute yourself and then let us see. Okay? Okay. So, this is a story of Blue Kite. We have already read it, listened to it, while your ma'am has read it aloud to you. And now we are working on a story map. Today's topic will be using a story map. Okay. So, what is a story map? I'm going to tell you more about the story map. And then when you are going to map a story, you will be able to retell all the events from the beginning, middle, and the end. So by the end of today's session, you will be able to create a graphic organizer. And that graphic organizer, okay, before I talk about more of this topic, do you remember the graphic organizers we have done? 2 graphic organizers we have already done. Samit, can you tell me the 2 graphic organizers that we have learned?
Ma'am, to graphic organizers.
Like the maps, yes, the maps where we have described somebody, some people. We did an activity. Yeah.
Yes. Ma'am, which one? Ma'am, when?
It is, do you remember that bubble map?
Ma'am, what day did you do that on Friday?
No, yes, but it is not related to what we did on what day. I'm asking. Do you remember that bubble map where we have put Mala in between and we had talked about what her activities make her as a person?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think you have not worked on it, but never mind. We will work again. So this is here. I'm going to teach you mapping a story. So, Samit, be careful and listen to it. How we are going to create a story using a story map. So, story map will help us to retell the events from the story. Okay. So, by the end of the day, you should find yourself creating your own story map from the any movies that you have seen or any story you have read so far. Okay, Samit. Okay. Great. So keep listening and be attentive. Okay. The keywords for today will be events, sequence, and story map. So what is event? Event is the important incident of the story. So whatever the story we have read,
Ma'am,
many of the stories.
Ma'am, what is the story, ma'am?
So, is it Samit? Who's this? Calling. Tell your name.
Samit.
Yes, Samit. There are many stories. Do you remember the stories that we have read yesterday, which I read aloud to you?
Yes, from the Blue Kite.
Great, the Blue Kite. And the other story which we have also read, and we have also seen on video clips, the crocodile and the monkey. There are many stories. Mala goes to school. Yes. So these all are the stories, and there are many stories, children, you must have read or viewed in form of a movie, or you must have listened as a bedtime story from your parents or grandparents. Yeah, great. So all these stories you can easily map out. Okay. And why do we need to map out? To retell the story. To retell a story, we need to map it out. So the keywords I was telling you are the events, sequence, and story map. What are the events in a story? The important incidents in a story where the story moves around is event. Okay. And what is a sequence? The order of those events that are happening in a story makes a sequence. And when we put all the events in a proper sequence, we create a story map. Okay. Okay. Aradhya? Great. Aradhya,
Yes, ma'am.
can you tell me why the sequence or sequencing in a story is important?
Ma'am, because if there will be no sequence, we will not be able to understand properly. We will understand, ma'am, we will understand, like, ma'am, can I, ma'am,
Yeah.
we will not understand carefully, ma'am, properly.
We will properly. Yes. We will not be able to understand any story if we retell with the events not in a sequence, right? We will be confused, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. Yes. So today we will have a good reader contest. And what is a good reader? Who is a good reader? Who reads a story and absorbs it, observe it carefully, all the events that goes around the story, which are really, really important, and around those events the story is actually moving, and they are also good reader are also able to retell the story. Okay. So for this, before I start with this activity further, I would like to ask you, remember, just think of the story which you have read recently, any of the story which you have read recently. So can you think of the story which you have recently read?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. So my question is to
ma'am.
Aditri. Yes, quiet. I'm coming to you, Bacha. So Aditri, Aditri? Aditri? Yes. Aditri, can you tell me any story that you have read recently?
Ma'am, I cannot properly from this. There is so much disturbance.
Now it is okay? Is it okay with you now?
Can I tell?
I'm asking Aditri right now. So let Aditri tell me a story. Aditri, have you read a good story recently?
Yes,
Or no? Yes, very good. Which story? Yes, very good. Which story?
ma'am. Zippy story.
Oh, zipping story. Okay. Okay. Can you tell me that story?
Bunny surprise and the rat story.
Okay. Aditi, I feel like there is a disturbance coming from your mic. So please ask your parent to assist you and see what is happening, because what the moment you start speaking, screeching sound coming up. Please speak to your parent. Yeah. Just check the mic. Aditi, check the mic system with your parents. Aradhya. Aradhya, are you there?
Our side is this from another side. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Aradhya, just imagine, just remember, just recall a story which you have recently read. I'm coming back to you. Okay, Aditri, in a short, can you tell me the story about? What is the story which you have read?
Ma'am, Zippy's story.
Can you read that story
Yes, ma'am.
quickly? You have to
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
me the story. Yes,
Ma'am,
start.
there was a blue kite named Zippy. Two
Okay.
birds asked him, and they were talking that kites of China are so much beautiful, shapes, colorful. Then he was
Okay.
with a duck, and then the fan said that Chinese kites are best. Then Zippy was so much sad, and he thought he will go to the China and see the kites. Next morning, he left for China, and he meet a house. It said the house said that when you see the and the dark blue sea, you will be close to China.
Oh wow, Aditri,
Yes, ma'am.
it's wonderful you are telling. And let us give Aradhya a chance, if you don't mind. Shall I give Aradhya a chance to continue the story where you have stopped? Thank you so much, Aditri. You are a wonderful girl. Aradhya, now can you continue? Can you continue?
Ma'am, I want to say you one thing.
What you want to say?
Ma'am, you have given a homework that the parents will say the story to them, and we will tell the events.
Yes, so you tell me the story first, no? What you have read. Can you tell me? What?
Wizard of Oz.
The other?
Ma'am, Wizard of Oz.
Without a pause. Aradhya, I'm so sorry. I'm not able to listen because you children have opened the mic and screeching sound is coming. Okay, Aradhya, can you just Aradhya,
Yes,
can you continue? Can you continue? Do you remember the story that we have had yesterday? We had a story reading session where I read aloud a story to you. Do you remember the story? No, okay. So now you listen to the story, okay? And then I'll come back to you because I'm going to ask you to make a story map on the same story. Now listen, Aradhya, you have to listen attentively, okay? Now I'm going to ask.
Ma'am, can I tell?
Okay, Anna Mishra.
Yes, ma'am. I
Anna,
know
Anna,
a
you
story.
have to. Yes. Anna, listen to. Anna, you have to finish the story. Start the story from where?
So,
From
ma'am,
where? Yeah.
I am
Aditi has
starting
started. Yes.
from the starting.
No, 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 no. Just be quick. We have so many activities to do. Start from where where Zippy planned to move to China. Okay.
Can I
She,
tell my story? I
okay,
know
you have a
my
different story.
yes,
Okay, then
ma'am.
I'm going to
Previous
come back to
story.
you again. No, I just really want somebody to finish the story. Okay, who want to finish this story? I am really loving it that you have many stories of yours as well. Wow, that is lovely.
Ma'am,
Reza, Reza.
can Digant
Yeah, Digant, please.
just ask one thing?
Digant, yeah, Digant, you finish it and make it short as crisp. Yes, please, Digant.
I want to say that can we say the story that you have only said, or we can say
No, 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 no,
my
no, no, no. What we are going to do today, we are really trying to retell a story. So if you are retelling a story, you need to tell the same story which was either you have read or viewed, right?
ma'am? I have heard lots of stories.
I know you know lots of
So I
stories. We
can,
will
I'm sure I said the feet problems. Feet problem.
began, began. There is no big problem, but you are not behaving like a good listener. What a good listener does, a good listener listens to the instructions carefully. The instruction is you have to retell the story which you have been read, which you have read, or which you have been told yesterday. So I have read aloud a story to you. I really want you to retell the story. Can you do that? Can you finish it where
Okay,
Aditi
ma'am.
has stopped? Thank you. So start and finish it fast. Yes.
And so after that when she reached to China, she sees a lot many kites, and then she looks around. Finally, she got some streets decorated by somebody, and then every single kite was looking at Zippy, and then as everybody was saying that see that kite is so beautiful. See that kite. So, Zippy was so proud of herself.
Wow. Very brilliant. Amazingly, you have finished up the story. Lovely. So now my question is
Ma'am,
to,
now can I tell?
Ma'am,
yeah,
now
my
can I
question,
tell?
yes, Samit, just tell me one thing. We will work on many stories, Bacha, but we have so many things to do. I'm coming back to you because I'm going to tell you how to map a story. Before I start with this and come to your story, can you tell me? I have few questions to ask. Can you tell me? Uh, this is a story which Digant and Aditi. No, listen to me. Just give me the answer. You don't have to write. When you have to write, I'm going to give you the instruction for you. Now tell me, Samit, did uh, Digant and Aditi take the same time to retell the story? Yes or no?
I think yes.
They took the same time. Reading the story takes the
No,
same
ma'am.
time, and retelling the story takes the same time.
No, ma'am.
Somebody's talking. Somebody's phone is still. Yes. I'm asking Samit. Yes, all of you kindly. Alia and Adiba, I'm coming back to you later, but mute yourself because Samit is saying something. Listen to Samit, what he's saying. Samit, did Digant and Aditi take the same time to retell the story? Did they take the same time?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
No. So you feel like retelling of the story, while we retell a story, it doesn't take the same time. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, great. Mm, now I'm going to ask Vedant. Vedant, are you there? Vedant,
Yes, ma'am.
Vedant, how do we retell the events?
How
You tell the
I don't know the meaning of retail and event.
retell means telling. Like Digant was telling the story, Digant was telling the incidences, and events means important happening of the story. Like Digant said, Aditri said, while Zippy was flying in the sky, she meets a few birds over there who were talking and telling about Chinese kites, right? This is an event. So, how do we, when we read a story, how do we retell the event? Okay, I help you in that. If I ask you something, what did you do yesterday? What you had in your dinner? So, what will you say?
Ma'am, the beginning, middle, and the end.
Okay, you will think of the beginning and till the end. Yes, we do that. But my question was different now. I asked you, yeah, that is a correct answer. Yes, we retell the events by thinking of the beginning and from the beginning till end. Yes, absolutely correct. Okay, so, uh, and then when we retell all the events in the story in a correct sequence, we retell the story correctly. Okay, now my second question to you. Can you see this screen? It is a story of our blue kite, right? Something look like the same. Mananj? Mananj? Okay. Vian. Vian? Vian is taking time to unmute himself. Aradhya? Aradhya?
Yes, ma'am.
Aradhya?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a story background from the blue kite. Okay?
Yes.
Okay? So my question is, who is the story about?
Ma'am, the blue kite.
Do you know the name of the blue kite?
Ma'am, Seppi.
Yes. So how will you frame your sentence? The story
The
is
story
about
is about a blue kite, Zippy.
named Zippy. Very good. Beautiful. Super Baradhya. Okay. Agnya. Agnya. Okay. She's not responding. Agnya.
Excuse me, ma'am. Yes.
Oh, you're there. I can hear your voice. Agnya, did you
Yes,
remember the story Blue Kite? And did you
yes,
listen to
ma'am.
your friend? Great. Now tell me what happens in the beginning of the story. Only beginning. Only beginning.
Ma'am, the blue kite hears birds saying कि China kites are so pretty.
Yes. Hmm.
And the blue kite thinks they are pretty.
Yes.
So he thinks to go China.
Yes. Go to China to meet the kites. Very good. Very good. That is excellent. So you have understood the beginning of the story wonderfully well. I loved it. Now I'm going to ask Athar Pandey. Athar Pandey, unmute yourself, please, and tell me what happens. Yes, and tell me what happens in the middle of the story. Yes, Athar. In the middle of the story, Okay, Asal is not responding. Okay, Aradhya, shall I come to you?
Yes,
Aradhya,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What?
Yes, Aradhya, I'm going to give you a question to think. Yes, think of the moral lesson that you have learned from this story, the moral value that you learned from the story. Just recall it. I'm coming back to you. But before that, I'm going to ask Manushri. Manushri, everybody just think of, rest of all of you, please think of what moral values you learned out of this story, and then you're going to frame the map of it. Okay, Manushri is not listening. Okay, we had with Samir, now Zainab. Zainab,
Yes, ma'am.
great Zainab. Zainab, tell me the middle of the story and end of the story. What happened in the middle? What happened in the middle
Ma'am, in the middle, ma'am,
of the story? In the
ma'am,
middle
Zippy
of the
got a
story.
friend owl. Zippy got
Yes.
an owl, and the owl tells and the owl tells ma'am, from where to go China?
Yes, and Zippy flies to China over the
China.
mountains. Yes, and Zippy flies over to
And
the mountains.
ma'am, the blue lake.
Yes, big blue ocean. Yes, it was a
And
sea actually.
ma'am, in the end,
No, yes, yes,
Zippy goes, there's one Zippy goes
yes,
there where so many kites was there and saying that Zippy, wow, see, all the kite was saying, see how beautiful kite, that blue kite.
yes,
And one
yes.
dragon kite says, wow, you are so beautiful. And then Zippy proud of himself.
Herself. Yes, very nice, very good. I clap for you. Okay, so yes, in the middle of the story, Zippy takes a flight to China. Zippy flies over the mountains and the sea and the ocean and the forest, and finally, in the end, Zippy reaches to China, and everyone over there praises. So yes, when you retell a story and when you have been listening to the story like we did it yesterday, you were able to retell the story and you are a very good listener. But now, this is what we could say. Like in the beginning, what happened? Zippy hears the bird talking and decides to go to China. In the middle of the story, what happens? She flies over tall mountains, thick forests, and finally deep blue sea of grey whales. And what happened in the end? The Chinese kites call her beautiful and she feels happy. So, right now, everybody has retell all the events in correct sequence, and that says you all are wonderful listeners. Very good. And now it is coming to the story mapping. So, how our story mapping look like? So, it looks like this. There is a screen in front of you where you can see the title of the story, where you are going to write the title of your story, and then you are going to find out what is the story about, where does it take place. Then comes the blocks where you are going to write what happened in the story. Always, every time, we will find out to the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, and the end of the story. Later, we will tell the lesson learned from the story. Okay, so my
I want
question
to
is,
ask, what is
please,
written at the end, after
it
end?
is, it is lesson learned, a lesson learned from the story. Okay. Okay. So now I have mapped the story for you. Do you remember the story of Mala goes to school? So now, if we see the story map for Mala Goes to School, the title is Mala Goes to School. And we are talking about what is the story about. So I'm going to ask Alia.
The girl Mala.
Yes, Alia. The girl Mala. It is a story about the girl Mala. And now, Karima, tell me. Karima?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, where does the story Mala Goes to School take place? Do you know the place where the story took place? It was a... Aradhya, you tell me. She has again muted herself. Aradhya?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember where the story Mala Goes to School take place?
Ma'am and story, ma'am.
The story, yes. It was a... Then tell me, please. Which place was this? It was Aradhya.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember the story happens where? Where does the girl Mala find, where she finds the snake? Where does she find the snake? It was which place? I'm sorry, I think I'm asking you. Yes?
Ma'am, you told us about my story.
Mala Goes to School. Yeah, tell me. Which place was this?
Ma'am, village.
Village. Yes, I heard. Oh, village. Very good. Okay. Yes. So, what was the beginning of the story of Mala Goes to School?
Ma'am, goes to the jungle and fill the pots and then rushes to school and sit near the window outside.
Yes, that is the beginning of the story. Every day, Mala used to go to the jungle to fill the water pot and bring it back to home. Yes. Somebody's microphone is screeching. I think it is Devang. Okay, Devang, you tell me now. What is the middle of the story of Mala Goes to School?
Ma'am, can I say?
Yes, who's this? But I was asking Devang. Let me ask Devang first. Devang,
Yes, ma'am.
tell me what happened in the middle of the story if Mala Goes to School?
Ma'am, after filling the pot,
No, this is done. This was the beginning of the story. In the middle of the story, what happens? Mala listens to the teacher's instruction. Yes?
yes, ma'am, yes.
And continues. What happens next? She writes the
Answer on her pots.
yes, she writes the answer on her pot. Very good. And what was the end of the story? Yeah, what was the end of the story?
Ma'am, the teacher goes to Mala and Somu house and tells to their parents, you should send both of your children to your school.
Very good, very good. Perfect. This is exactly what the ending of the story is. The teacher goes to their house and requests your parents to send both of them to the school. So this way we are going to fill it. I have done my story map for you. The title is Mala Goes to School. The girl is Mala. The place is village. Now, what happened in the beginning? Mala fills pot from the river from the jungle, rushes to school, sits outside the class window to learn. What is the middle of the story? She hears a scream from the class. She finds a wood snake and makes her laugh. She throws it away. This was my middle of the story. But you were also correct that she writes the answer and she finds her answer correct. Okay. What was the end of the story? The teacher goes to... Yes. The teacher goes to the school. Yes, the teacher goes to her house and asks the parents to send the Mala to the school. Right. So this is
Ma'am, the time is over.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Ma'am, can I tell the story also?
Yeah,
And the time is over.
Just 4 minutes.
The time is over. And the time is over.
You be quiet. Listen to me.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, I'm just finishing it off. Still, we have few minutes to finish. Now you have learned to how to build a story using ideas given on a map. So now this is a map for you. This is a map for you. You have to fill all the stories you are telling me that you know. So you will fill a title of the story. I'm going to share this work with you on the WhatsApp or on your mail also. So you're going to do this sheet. Yes, Devang.
Ma'am, we can, write any story.
Yes, you can write any story or any movie or any video you have seen.
Can you send it on WhatsApp?
Yes, you have to write the title of the story. What is the story about? Where does it take place? And then you will be writing the beginning, middle, and the end. Also, you have to write the lesson learned from the story. Okay, are you going to do that?
Okay,
Samit?
ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Samit.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Samit. I yes.
Ma'am, will you send this on WhatsApp?
Yes, I'm going to send you this question on the WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye, ma'am.
Yes, you have to write the story and fill in the map. Okay.
Bye,
And
Just
Samit,
need to write the story title, right? Ma'am.
yes, you will be writing the story title and fill in the middle of the story. Okay. Okay.
Ma'am.
Yes. And you have to write some lesson. Bye. Don't you have to write the lesson?
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.